Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello, Penny.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
How are you? You've just been away.
I have, yes. I'm feeling very relaxed and enjoyed the beautiful island of Madeira, which I've never been before, but we'll be going back again.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Mm.
Well, if anyone's watching and thinking, why has this guy got tins of beer behind him? They're
Yeah,
hardly good ornaments, are they? Well, they're there for a reason. Because you'll see if you can read the label, it's Toast Ale. And Toast Ale are an incredible company I've discovered recently. And they're coming on to talk to us today. They're Kristen Fuller, who's their social media manager, is coming on to talk to us about their beer and the philosophy around it. That they're involved with COP26, funny enough.
yeah,
I'm going to tell us
yeah.
about that.
Very
And they
relevant.
use unused bread in terms of the making of the beer, which is normally discarded by many companies, etc. But she'll tell us all about that. But it looks an amazing company of what they're doing. And I think it's just one of those things which is right on trend for the moment. So people become more responsible about the planet, about the climate change. And she'll tell us all about how Toast Ale, actually works with an agenda around that.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. I mean, their website is very interesting, and their focus is on the food system being broken. And I'm quite proud of myself. When I got back, I went to the supermarket and I actively bought everything from Britain to do my little bit. And my mum said to me, it's not really going to make a big difference, is it? And I'm like, well, at the end of the day, at least it makes me feel better that I'm trying to buy local, and I think the pandemic made us all think about that a little bit more. But now with COP26 as well,
Yeah.
Hopefully it is on everyone's agenda. And this company looks fantastic, not just for raising the awareness, but actually what they're doing. They're putting money back into charity, free meals, recycling,
Exactly. Yeah.
very, very.
So
And
we're looking forward to talking to them.
is it
Yeah, it is.
of companies, more could do this sort of thing, couldn't they?
Yeah, and to tell us a bit more, but I'm pretty sure they actually brew down in Kent.
They do,
Not
yes.
far from you.
Which again, I didn't realise, I'm embarrassed to say. So
yeah. I think they use somebody else to brew. I think there's a collaboration they do between different brewers, which is obviously the way to go, isn't it? You don't need to own your own thing sometimes. You need to hire the equipment in essence. But we'll hear all about the company and what it's all about, and then we'll talk about the day-to-day running, and we'll talk about, ultimately, where can you buy it and how do you get involved if you want to. So it's a really good thing, and it's interesting because when I was watching the COP26 thing last week, and you just wonder, don't you? I mean, there's all these on the one hand, it depends what your attitude is to this. If your attitude is positive, you might look at it and go, well, so far the leaders have actually made some big commitments about emissions and climate change and deforestation and blah, blah, blah. And yet, on the other hand, you've got all the Greta Thunbergs and her followers, if you like, who are saying, well, that's fine, but it's not enough. It's not enough at all.
Not quick.
I don't know how to feel, to be honest with you. Is it enough? I mean, it's not something which I guess governments will just turn around overnight, is it?
Well, no, it's not. But is 2050 fast enough? I mean, this is the other thing, isn't it? And I think if anything else, it's created a lot more awareness, hasn't it? And people like, did you see Coldplay have announced that they're going to pay a tree for every ticket that they sell of their concert? If more influencers like people in the public eye make those sorts of gestures and statements, will it make a difference? I don't know. I mean, I'm very pro planting trees. I think that is a significant thing we can all do, along with being more conscious about what you're buying. Because if you stop buying items, as I said to you earlier about buying apples from New Zealand, they've travelled halfway around the world.
Yeah. As all the leaders did, of course, in their private jets.
Yeah.
Well, the folks are going to get there, haven't they? What can you do about that, I guess?
The leaders fly out and you've just got tons of planes.
But I noticed when you talk about Coldplay, I mean, they've got these gigs lined up for next year where they're saying they've got these panels in place whereby
that's right,
jumping or dancing on the panels will fuel the lighting in the gig.
How fantastic is that?
They've done that at Canary Wharf, you know. As you come out the tube station at Canary Wharf, if you know the big long tube station, you come out onto this plaza, and the panels on the right-hand side, as you go up to the main office blocks, have got these solar powers in, which actually help power the estate. So it's creative use of stuff like that, isn't it, really, which is the thing.
Yeah, and we just need to do more of that. But I think, you know, so everyone could do a bit more. I've done a recent campaign for Kent Plan B, so it's supporting bees, butterflies, etc., pollinators, basically, because that makes a difference to our environment as well. So if we all had a bit more messy gardens, that would help wildlife.
Oh, so what do they do exactly then? How do they help that?
Well, the pollination creates the food chain, I suppose, for you know the little flies. Then the
what does the charity actually do to aid that?
Just promotion. So it is just about raising.
Oh, it's awareness. Okay.
And encouraging more people to, you know, there was a don't mow in May campaign that if you just leave things be for a month, it will help those pollinators as a key time of year, as part of the sort of insect wildlife chain, which I don't know if you remember, but you know, when I was a kid, your windscreen in the summer would just be covered in flies. It's not anymore. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's
That's a very good point. No, it's not. What's the reason?
Well, we're losing so much of our green fields. We're therefore losing many more insects than we used to have. And that's all, as I say, part of your wildlife chain that's missing.
Amazing. Well, I can tell you we have our special guest with us, and she's going to join us any second now. And we'll talk all about Toast Ale. And we'll just wait for Kristen to join us now. Kristen, hello, good morning.
Welcome.
Hello, Penny. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Very good. Good to meet you. We've just been talking all about your fantastic, well, from the website and the information of what you're doing. It's commendable.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, it's an epic business to be part of, I do feel.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you on the show. I was just explaining the reason I've got the cans behind me.
Yay!
Exactly, yeah. I'm going to start with that before we go any further, just to talk about, we'll get into the ethics of what you're doing, etc. in a second, but just to talk about the taste of the beer. Brilliant, I love it. I did the little taste test in Liverpool. I took them to Liverpool, the beers, and we had a little taste test, me and my friend, before the game last week. And these were the popular ones. So we've got the pale ales, the American pale ale, and the craft lager was particularly. And me personally, I love this, which is the coffee porter.
Yeah, that's one of our new ones.
Yeah, I love it. It's really nice. I'm like there's a mutual friend of ours, Mr. Mike Orloff, who's probably watching this show right now, and he and I meet for lunch often. We always start with a pint of Guinness. And I think it's sort of the equivalent to that. We like a bit of a full, strong thing to get the thing going. It's beautiful taste. I love it. So thank you for that. And it's
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It's a great taste. But it's not just about taste, is it, Kristen? It's about so much more. And I think today I'd like to just really get into maybe take 2 or 3 areas. One about a little bit about the company and what Toast is and the setup and its ethos, etc. And then we'll get into the bit of the marketing and the targeting, which is probably very much down to you. And then we'll talk about the practicalities of where people can get their hands on this stuff and, I think get involved more, etc. So let's start from the beginning, if you like. So tell us a little about Toast and what you are and this message you have around this climate emergency.
Okay, yeah. So essentially, Toast exists because food production is the biggest contributor to climate change and biodiversity loss. So food production is responsible for 80% of deforestation, 70% of freshwater use, and a whopping 30% of greenhouse gas emissions come from.
Which is huge.
Yeah, which I'm not sure most people really realise.
I'm sure not.
And the biggest kind of travesty of all of this is that 1/3 of food is wasted, and millions of people don't have enough to eat. So essentially, our food system is broken. So Toast was set up to change that. And focusing particularly on bread, because 44% of bread in the UK goes to waste. So Tristan,
how much, sorry?
44% of bread is estimated.
That's enormous.
Waste, and that's from you know, from in supermarkets, or you know, in a hotel, or 2 people at home. So it's kind of, there's many reasons why bread is wasted. Wow. I won't go into detail now.
Well, that's an enormous figure, isn't it? 44%.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It's very surprising, and yeah, sad in many ways. So we're trying to tackle that in a positive way. So everything Toast is trying to do is kind of to have the discussion about all these serious things that are happening in the world, but do it with a positive. So over a cheeky pint. So yeah, the company was started by an environmental campaigner called Kristen Fuller. So if you just look him up, he's done a TED talk, he's written books about waste. He's just this incredible guy who has a real passion to sort of stop food waste. So he met with a brewery called the Brussels Beer Project, who were already brewing a beer from surplus bread called Babylon, which was a nod to kind of beer's origin. So originally, way back when beer was first invented, it was actually brewed with bread. So actually we've just gone back to the way it all started. So yeah, we replace kind of around sort of 1/3 to 1/4 of malted barley with this kind of fresh surplus bread, which is air dried and then crumbed to get kind of the maximum amount out of it in the brewing.
Does it matter, Kristen, that the bread is stale for the purpose of the beer?
No, it makes no difference. So it's not moldy, it's not bad, it's just past its best, essentially. It's kind of just surplus. So we've worked with all kinds of businesses in the past, but from kind of sandwich factory, where they were getting rid of the heel end of the loaf, so the bit where, you know, obviously if you're buying a sandwich from a shop, you never see the big crust bit, do you, in a sandwich packet, which I'm very sad about personally, but apparently consumers don't like them, so they were just kind of,
I'm with you on that.
landfill. So yeah, that was kind of where, well, we did actually start in Hackney collecting all surplus bread from all these incredible little bakeries, and then as we grew, we started working with sandwich makers, and at the moment we work with a bakery in Bognor Regis called EF Bakers, and we take their surplus loaves and we kind of crumb them up and dry them out and create an ingredient for which brewers can use. So yeah, that's kind of.
And is that not a concept which, you know, hearing you talk like that? Yes, of course, it makes absolute sense. Why haven't other brewers gone on the back of that and done the same thing?
Well, there are like globally, there's lots of other breweries doing it, and there's other breweries in the UK who are also using surplus bread. One of our kind of sort of things that perhaps sets us apart is that we donate all our profits to charities fixing the food system. So we have a main charity partner called Feedback, but we also collaborate with other breweries to help them. So our brand is very much around kind of working together to fix this problem. So far we've collaborated with around 75 breweries, and we also have, we open source our recipe. So you can go onto our website if you're a home brewer, toastale.com, and download a recipe for our pale ale. So that's the green can behind you there. So yeah, we're very much about kind of spreading this message about food waste and helping people to do whatever they can, whether it's having a cheeky pint or brewing bread at home. We can all kind of do our bit.
Yes, I understand now. I think you described yourself as a planet-saving craft beer. I can get the idea behind that now. So where are you based?
So the office is based in London. So there's, we're quite a small team. So there's 4 directors, our CEO, Rob, our COO, Louisa, our sales director, David, and Julie, who's the logistics director. And then there's me, who's doing marketing and comms. And then we have a head brewer, Stuart, as well. So we brew in a kind of a partnership with an existing brewery, which is based in Broadstairs. So we don't have our own brewing facility. We do a thing called, what some people call cuckoo brewing, where you kind of use the facilities that someone else already has, which again has sort of environmental benefits in that, you know, we're sort of taking up the slack where they might have sort of gaps in their production to make sure they're sort of maximising everything.
That's not far from you, Penn, Broadstairs.
No, not at all. I'm based in Maidstone, so
okay.
I know very well.
Yeah, just down the road. And we have worked with other breweries. So we were working with Woldtop in the past up in Yorkshire, and Hepworth, who are an incredible sustainable brewery in Sussex. So yeah, that's kind of just where we are in terms of sort of things changing around.
I know you are a niche brewer. However, I think I picked up some figures from somewhere. I think some information I read about you are nevertheless still making 2 million pints. Is that right?
Yeah. So far at the end of 2020, we had brewed with 2,000 slices of bread. So yeah, essentially 2,000 kind of cans of beer. We say there's sort of a slice in each serving, as it were.
That's a good line. Yeah.
Yeah, but our we have an ambition to brew with 1 billion slices.
Wow.
Which we realize we can't do on our own, which is why we're kind of very keen to collaborate with other breweries, which is what we're doing at the moment with the companion series that we've just launched.
Right. So presumably, if you expand, you'd need to go to other bakers and.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there's no shortage of surplus bread.
I'm sure.
So I think we'll be okay. So essentially, like, we'd love to eradicate our main ingredient. We'd love to get rid of bread waste. We'd love it if all the brewers in the UK started using surplus bread. Our job would be done, essentially.
Do you think they will?
Sorry, Penny?
Do you think they will? I mean, you're obviously leading, but do you think?
I mean, we've just launched this companion series where we worked with 24 other breweries in the UK and gave them surplus bread, so gave them the raw ingredient to replace this malted barley with, and they've all loved it. And we've worked with people from Guinness to Adnams to much smaller breweries as well, who've all want to do more. We all want to do more to kind of help the climate crisis. And
24 is a really good start, isn't it?
Yeah, so hopefully kind of we can sort of spread the word more and get more breweries involved.
And that probably touches on, I was going to ask you next, and I think you're starting to answer the question already, which is about, you mentioned on your website about, wildfires and flooding and loss of habitats and species, etc. And I guess the companion box and the money that generates is geared towards helping that.
Yeah, so we are working with 2 impact partners for this companion series. So you get kind of this big box. It's an incredible box of beers with some kind of snacks and a limited edition glass. So you get 26 beers because it's for COP26, and we donate £26 from every box to 2 impact partners. So one is the Rainforest Trust, who are doing all they can to protect the forests in the Amazon from destruction. So it's quite trendy at the moment to talk about planting trees, but actually what we need to do first is protect the ones we have. And then we're also working with another amazing organisation called Soil Heroes, which basically they help farmers to transition to a way of farming that restores the soil to its natural glory, if you like. So it helps farmers to, there's many different things that are involved, and I'm not an expert, but essentially it's making the soil great again. And in the long term, it sequesters more carbon, it holds more water, it has more life in it. So there's many different ways in which they help farmers to kind of farm in a way that's better for people and the planet. So those are the kind of 2 benefactors of this companion series. And we are also, the beer is available on tap with quite a few of our partner breweries, and in some of the Head of Steam pubs, which I think are mostly based up north.
Yeah, the Head of Steam.
£1 from every pint again is kind of gone to these 2 incredible organisations.
Oh, wow. So, yeah. And talking about COP26, you've got this open letter apparently to the world leaders.
Part of the companion series is and the main part of it, the reason that we did it was that it was kind of the word companion. So com comes from the word together in Latin, and panis means bread. So it kind of represents this need for collaboration and for everyone to work together to fix what's happening with the climate crisis. So we've written an open letter to world leaders with all our brewing partners to say, well, if we as competing businesses can work together to do something that's bigger than us, then why can't you as world leaders unite to kind of help humanity and limit warming to this 1.5 degrees, which is so important. So basically,
have you had any reaction to that at all?
We've had some great feedback on social media and through our marketing channels. Everyone's been very supportive. So yeah, I mean, not from Boris himself. I don't think we've heard anything from, sadly. But yeah, it's kind of we need this need to work together, and it's kind of hoping that message goes to world leaders, but to everyone on the planet as well, like the man on the street, everyone can take this in.
It's all part of spreading the word, isn't it?
Exactly, spreading the word.
So which leads us on to your role there, really. I mean, how do you market Toast?
So at the moment, our main marketing, well, we have a few different channels. So we have our social media channels, which is our main one is Instagram. We also use Twitter, which we're on tonight, actually. If anyone is out there on Twitter, join us on Ethical Hour. We're taking over Ethical Hour, so you can just follow what's going on with the hashtag Ethical Hour. We're doing that tonight and talking about COP26. Is that a particular time, Kristen? Yeah, so it's between 8 and 9 this evening. Okay. So we use Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, in a very small way on YouTube, and Facebook, of course. So we use kind of social media to get our messages out there. We have a marketing newsletter, which goes out to our subscribers. And yeah, we kind of work with key partners in the press. We have some kind of sort of toast champions, if you like, so influencers out there again on social media that help spread our message. And we try and work with other businesses within our community again to sort of foster this collaborative message. So prior to the companion series, we brewed a series of beers called Rise Up, and it was kind of a countdown to COP26. So we worked with different B Corps and brewed a different beer which highlighted a different element of the ecological crisis and used kind of an ingredient that was akin to our partnership. So so I don't know if you know about the B Corp movement and kind of how that works, but basically it's businesses that balance purpose and profit. So there's about 4,000 B Corps in the UK, and some retailers like Ocado, Waitrose and Boots have special online shops where you can just shop from B Corps. But essentially it's a community of businesses that are sort of using businesses as a force for good. And so other like examples of B Corps might be, we've worked with Divine Chocolate, so we brewed a chocolate porter, a chocolate stout, sorry, and we worked with Tea Pigs on a lemongrass lager. Other bigger B Corps that people might know is someone like Jamie Oliver, his business is a B Corp, Riverford. So yeah, we're kind of part of that movement as well. Interesting, yeah. So but on that subject of where people can taste it, you mentioned there's a shed load of pubs around the country which are stocking Toast. Is that right? Yeah, so the Head of Steam pubs are tasting all of our companion beers on tap, and lots of our brewing partners have done tap takeovers. So off the top of my head, and I probably miss some people, but there's Signature Brewer doing one, Orbit have been doing one, Brixton Brewery, and Sam Brooks ran one. So I mean, the most sustainable way to drink beer is to have it in a pub on tap. So that's what we'd encourage everyone to do. But if they can't get out, then they can buy our beers online at toastale.com. Toastale.com, and also Waitrose. And Waitrose, we're in Waitrose, and the Co-op, great partner, and in Co-op, and on Ocado as well. So there's lots of ways people can try our beer, hopefully, and raise a toast. Well, cheers. Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, it's a great story, Kristen. Yeah, I've got to say, who dreams up the flavors, by the way? So our head brewer, Stuart, is an extremely experienced gentleman who's been involved in brewing and ran his own brewery for many years. So he works kind of with our head team our directors to decide what kind of we brew next. So there's 4 core beers, which are, as you talked about, the craft lager, the APA, there's a session IPA, and there's a pale ale as well.
That's right.
So those are the ones that we run all the time, which are in the bright coloured cans, which you can see there. And then we've been bringing these special one-off limited edition ones, which were the Rise Up series, which some of which we've sold out now. And then we've just launched these 2 new ones, which is this one, which is a coffee porter, which we brewed with Cafe Direct. So as you said, it's very delicious.
It is indeed, it's delicious.
So the idea behind that was that it was talking about people and how the climate change is affecting people disproportionately. So those perhaps in third world countries, you know, they don't have access to all the things we have access to, but we're using all the world's resources, and they're coming out of it a lot worse. And then we brewed another one, this one for Planet, which we've collaborated with some amazing businesses and charities to, again, it's talking about trying to limit this warming to 1.5 degrees, and how people can kind of get involved in terms of, basically the main thing people can do is just write to your MP and talk to as many people as you can about what's going on, and try and get this message out there that governments need to act, and they need to work together, and they need to put, you know, wide-ranging, robust commitments in place to limit this warming.
Well, listen, it is a great story, and I've just picked up something off your website just to end with, which is, well, firstly, on your website, you do have this impact report, which if anyone's interested in getting involved and learning more, they can download that from your website. But also, I love this phraseology you've used on the website, which is, here's to the bakers using your loaves, changing the world one slice at a time. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And to the brewers going against the grain, fermenting change with every barrel, to the landlords serving the community, fixing the system down the local, and to the punters putting the world to rights, saving our planet over a pint, to a beer with more taste and a world without waste. Great line. Brilliant.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Yeah, thank you for reading that.
Listen, thanks for coming on the show. It's been really, really great having you, and it's a brilliant story, and I love the beer too, as you say.
Great story, it really is. I'm going to promote the hell out of you after this show, because
you guys are incredible.
What you're doing is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Penny, really appreciate you having me along. Thank you for sharing our message with all your listeners. And
well, maybe we'll catch up in maybe this time next year and see how it's all going.
Awesome, that would be great. Yeah,
that'd be great. Thanks for now, Kristen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Well, there you go.
Just fantastic. I meant it. I think that, you know, if I can help in any way, I will, because I think they're what they're trying to do is really, really worth supporting.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, listen, that's it for another week, Pen. And if anyone wants to contact us, how can they do that?
Oh, well, they can use Facebook, direct message us. We're on Twitter. We are on our website is ukbrandshow.co.uk, where you can listen to this and many other shows if you want to download.
Indeed. We have quite a back catalogue there, don't we?
We have. I was just thinking, we've had some great guests. We need some of them back on.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Right. Well, that's it, everyone. Thank you very much for listening and for watching, whichever channel you're on. And we'll catch you again next time.
See you soon.
Thanks for watching. Bye for now.